Hey, happy Monday to you. I'm excited to bring the Monday momentum to you in hopes that we both gain great momentum for our week together. You know, we've been talking about strongholds these last few weeks, and this is actually part 3 of escaping strongholds. And we've talked about what a stronghold is. A stronghold is actually a military fortification. And so in battle, they would create things much similar to a castle with a moat around it. And it was literally known to be impossible to get through. That's why it's called a stronghold. It's where everyone hid out. We've also talked about strongholds in our mind, okay? So we all have these strongholds of our mind. In therapy, I actually call them irrational core beliefs, negative cognitions, all of these things that really control our feelings, our emotions, our behaviors, all of these things. And so one of the things I do as a therapist is I really listen for irrational core beliefs such as I'm not good enough, nobody loves me, life should be fair, whatever that looks like, okay? So stronghold, irrational core belief, very, very similar. Well, this is so cool. I couldn't wait to bring this to you guys for part 3 because I've been reading through Chronicles in the life of David, who I absolutely love. And David was the greatest king of Israel. And so I think as leaders, there's just so much wisdom we can gain from reading his life. But the thing about David over and over and over is he was ultimately continually positioned in impossible circumstances so God could shine through and get all the glory. And so let's look at 1 Chronicles 11 because there's so many little nuggets in here that I think are going to encourage you this week. When we look at 1 Chronicles, not Corinthians, don't mix those up. We come to this place where David is once again engaged in this battle and once again wants to take over this city. And so talking about how David conquers Jerusalem. So listen to this. Verse 4. David and all the Israelites marched to Jerusalem, that is Jebus. The Jebusites who lived there said to David, "You will not get in here." Okay? Very emphatic, intimidating, but you will not get in here. You will not, what's that voice for you? You will not get to your destiny. You will not, whatever all of that is, right? You will not live in victory, maybe. So they're saying to David, you will not get in here. Nevertheless, David captured the fortress of Zion called the City of David. David had said, whoever leads the attack on the Jebusites will become commander-in-chief. Joab, son of Zeruiah, went up first, and so he received the command. So we have young, brave warrior, gets first place. Awesome. He's the commander. This is what I really want you to catch, okay? David then, listen to this, took up residence in the fortress. Some translations say stronghold. And so it was called the City of David. Here's a big key for city takers. He built up the city around it from the supporting terraces to the surrounding wall, while Joab restored the rest of the city. So David's going up, building up fortresses in the stronghold while Joab is going around restoring the rest of the city. And David became more and more powerful because the Lord Almighty was with him. So that's a constant in every single battle of David, that the Lord was with him. And literally the circumstances were so adverse against David in all of these things that it only could be the Lord that would come through. And I want you to catch that. But what I really want to talk about today, that's so amazing. We'll talk about those city taker keys another time and what that looks like to come into a city and go into the stronghold and uproot that and then build up this city around it, okay? Very, very cool. That's going to be another video. But what I want you to catch is David sees the stronghold of the city. they're screaming, "You're never gonna get us," no, 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 you're never gonna get us. And David's like, watch me, doesn't really engage them back because there's no reason to engage the enemy. God is victorious, so we don't even need to banter back and forth. And David goes into the stronghold and literally resides in the stronghold. So not only does he get into the stronghold, which is amazing, but he literally goes, you know what? I'm going to set up camp here and I'm going to make it my own. And so I've been thinking about, like, what does that look like? What does that look like for the strongholds that we carry, that we wrestle with? What does it look like for us to come in the midst of those and allow God to work and actually reside in those and allow God to have all the glory? And there's lots of different examples I could share, but I want to share one from my own life. I am actually wired together, very, very highly sensitive and all of these things, but I am wired together and I have a propensity to worry. I have a propensity toward anxiety in my fleshly nature. And I would even propose not just fleshly nature, but I believe that some people are highly sensitive and wired toward that. And I'll tell you why in a second. Philippians 4 tells us how we can actually come into that stronghold and not only uproot it, but put stakes in it and call it good. And this is what it says: do not be worried or anxious about anything, but by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, present your request to God. And then the peace that passes all understanding will guard your heart and mind in Christ Jesus. So this is what I say. In my own life and in many others' life who have a propensity toward worry and anxiety. What if the Lord wired you like that so that you would feel things so strongly and carry those, and he automatically wants you to take those to the cross and through prayer release those burdens with thanksgiving. I thank you and praise you, Lord, that you are the God of breakthrough. I thank you and praise you that you are releasing your angels even now concerning me, to lift me up in my hand so I will not strike my foot against a stone. Maybe you're worried about the state of our nation, which is very dark, right? Maybe you constantly think about it. Maybe you're worried about what culture and society has become. And so you can come and you can petition and you can pray with thanksgiving. I thank you and praise you, God, that you are raising up a mighty generation that is actually, you've placed destinies inside this next generation that is going to overcome every strategy and every assignment of evil sent against America. And I thank you now that you're raising up the Josephs, you're raising up the Daniels and the Esthers and the Samuels. Even now, God, I praise you for that. I pray for our president. I pray for our leaders. I pray for city officials. I pray for the overturn of Roe v. Wade in all 50 states. I pray, right, you see what I'm doing there? I'm praying, I'm offering up petition, and I'm giving thanks for the breakthrough. That is how I have, through the grace of God, come into my stronghold and taken up residence and use that as a residence for his kingdom, if that makes sense. That might not be the exact words that I'm looking for, but instead of a stronghold of darkness, it has become a stronghold for his kingdom. And see, you have strongholds too that can be used for darkness or can be used for kingdom. So I challenge you today to take that stronghold to the Lord and allow him to infiltrate every area of your mind and ask him, just ask him, how do you want me to use this for the kingdom? And literally set up camp in that stronghold with him, not with the enemy, but with him. I love you guys. Cheering you on so loud. Have a great week.